Hey everybody. Alright, another video on Eusebius Ecclesiastical History. This is book 3, chapter 17. So the title, The Persecution of the Christian under Domitian, and I quote the whole chapter there. Domitian, having exercised his cruelty against many and justly slain no small number of noble and illustrious men at Rome, and having, without cause, punished vast numbers of honorable men with exile and confiscation of their property, at length established the successor Nero, his hatred and hostility to God. He was the second who raised a persecution against us, although the father of Vespasian had attempted nothing to our prejudice. All right, so Eusebius is the first history to make this claim. Now, this is the link here. You have access to these interactive PDFs in the description below on all the videos, okay? He is the first to make this claim in history, the Domitian persecutions. You should click on the article, go over that. This is not the first thing that Eusebius had first to make claim, and he wasn't even there. He wasn't even there during the time of Domitian, right? But you just click on this, it goes over this. So there are people that have looked into this claim that have just taken over Christianity. I mean, it's your typical Christian today that just assume that Domitian persecuted Christians. Here's a link to an investigation of this and their results. There's no persecution before, after, compare their reign. Okay, so you can read that. Another investigation, see that page 58, so 58 here. Unfortunately, no contemporary narrative of Domitian persecuting Christians exists, although most of them possess documents which were called forth by it. So there was no widespread persecution at all in Domitian, and so that people who like to late date the book of Revelation will say, well, there's persecution or Domitian, but there's definitely no widespread. The reason why it has to be considered widespread, if you go to Revelation 1, and where John said, I, John, your brother and partner in the tribulation, okay? So there had been a widespread tribulation as he wrote this. So this does not support being written at the time of Domitian. All right, now Eusebius made this up and had caught on like wildfire. Alrighty. And then here's also a link to an article by John Buchanan, who is a Roman Catholic apologist. Very interesting, because he acknowledges that it didn't happen. So you would think that Jimmy Buchanan, who converted Protestant to Roman Catholicism, largely because of church fathers, you think he would caught on, hey, wait a minute, this Eusebius guy is not very reliable. Maybe there's some other thing too that in the early writing that aren't very reliable either. And Mark Wilson, that's one of the articles that I quote in my, I think it's the first one. This one right here. So you would think that he would catch on to that. I mean, he's a very intelligent guy. The reason why he didn't catch on to it, let's see here. The reason why Jimmy is not catching on to it because he believed that Emperor Constantine was a Christian. When you go down that path thinking that he's a Christian, you are going to be blinded to a lot of things. And I take the path, no, he was not a Christian, and I see things with greater level of clarity. And again, Jimmy Akin's a very intelligent guy. But when you believe something to be true that's false, you're going to go down a path of confirmation biasness and so forth. That's why it's always, there's different forks in the road. Take all the different paths and compare objectively, and eventually you'll sift out, you'll figure out which one is true. Constantine was definitely not a Christian. He murdered his own family, a member of his own family after so-called conversion. He still held on to pagan beliefs. And it's funny, as Eusebius, it's claimed that Eusebius himself is the one that baptized Constantine on his deathbed, on Constantine's deathbed. So that's interesting. It goes to show, and Eusebius, to my understanding, believed that the act of baptism in itself caused regeneration. So it's been said that he experienced conversion at the end of his life, Constantine. Well, those that say about the first so-called conversion. All right. So anyway, here's an article on Eusebius. You can just click on it. All right, and I quote from the article. It says right here. In other words, Eusebius has already decided against and judged all views which did not agree with him in the narrative of events, in the narration of events. And then there is this in preparation for the gospel. This is another work by Eusebius. It will be necessary, this is by Eusebius. I just discovered this today. And I've been telling you all along he's not a credible source. And I just discovered this today. It will be necessary sometimes to use falsehood, fiction as a remedy for the benefit of those who require such a mode of treatment. I did not expect to be something like that. Man, if you're a con artist, you're not going to be using verbiage like this. You're going to want to try to get away with it. And this is from the horse's mouth right here. Alrighty. What he wrote. Now, is it possible somebody wrote that in? It's possible, but pretty unlikely. But just looking at his works, like I've been saying all along, it just I knew it was not credible. Just from learning a lot of history and relying on the scripture as the ultimate source of truth. And so just back up what I've been saying all along. And there's going to be many, I've been making many more videos on his works, Ecclesiastical History, showing how what he says is not true, not reliable. There's many more coming. To be honest with you, when I first started this, I knew right from the get-go, just based on a couple things he said, this guy is lying to the teeth, without even reading his entire books. And so I've just been going through each title, and all right, it'd be interesting what he says here, because I know this is false. So there's a whole bunch of chapbooks and chapters that I haven't even read yet, and I already know ahead of time I'm expecting there to be false information from this guy. But anyway, so you see it right there. Alrighty, it's necessary sometimes to use falsehood, fiction as a remedy for the benefit of those who require such a mode of treatment. So, this guy Eusebius, he was definitely devout to Rome. Let's say he was a Christian. I don't think he was. Let's say he was. He was definitely more loyal to Rome than Christ. There's no question. So anyway, so I think that wraps up. So you can read these articles here on your own. So links to the articles, and you can see for yourself what it says here. Let's see here. I think it was this one. But there was an article where talks about Eusebius, and a lot of the works are missing. It might be this one. Yeah, it might be this one. And that to me, that's a little bit naive. Whatever considered missing, most likely it was never there to begin with. And let's see here. Yeah, I'm thinking of somewhere in this one, but if you want to find it yourself, it's in here. We're basically, here we go. Eusebius wrote several additional books, some which have been lost. Or only actually this one's writing about his books. But no, there's another portion where it talks about stuff that he got missing, and it is so false. And I heard it shown in a couple of my videos. The claims that he made does not fit the timing of the text of the Bible, Acts 12. You look at Acts 15. He just blatantly caught lying. And his claim that Peter fled right at the beginning of the reign of Claudius, which would have been in AD 41, and yet you see Peter still there in Jerusalem in AD 44 during the death of King Herod, and the Lord removed the threat of King Herod. Why would at that point Peter feel the need to flee? And then of all places, flee to Rome? It just doesn't make sense. Another thing to think about, you read in Eusebius' writings, he talks about all these bishops in various places, Jerusalem, and all these different bishops. Why is it that they rewrote history, the bishop, they changed the name Pope, but they chose Rome to where it all began? Alrighty, why not Jerusalem? It's because they were trying to centralize power around Rome. So, anyway, yeah, so you can read these articles here for yourself. I just find this all interesting stuff. So millions of people have been fooled by Eusebius, and who knows what else he had done, not just in his writing, the lying that he's done in his writing, but how do we know, since somebody says this, how do we know he hasn't modified church history of the writings of people who've been labeled as church fathers? To me, it's totally believable. When I read his writing, his work, Ecclesiastical History, doesn't surprise me one bit. Ignatius of Antioch, absolutely been modified. Clement of Rome, absolutely been modified. There are others too. But anyway, I guess I'll just end it at that. So my next video will be Book 3, Chapter 18. So be looking for that. So I'd love to hear your thoughts here. What's your thoughts on all this? So if you're reading into Eusebius and trying to understand history yourself. So, well, thank you very much for watching, and you have an awesome day.